Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are watching. I want to say thank you for joining me for another video. It's your host, Crypto Glenn. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate it. What is going on in the crypto world as it stands right now? Well, the big story in all markets across the board is that the United States FOMC has elected to pause rates in terms of their monthly hiking that they've been doing since probably about the same time or the beginning of 2023. What does this actually mean for markets right now? To find out, why don't we go ahead and take a moment and jump into the charts here. This is Bitcoin currently on the 4-hour. You see here that we have currently entered into this ascending channel. Now, what I'm expecting to see, just based on the technical analysis, is Bitcoin actually retrace down to around this $25,000 area here that we have in this red box. Again, this is around 25,452. So I'm actually looking to see a retracement back to this zone. Ideally, I'm not expecting it in the next 5 minutes. I would actually like to see this happen over the next maybe 1 to 3 days, a week at the absolute longest, if it needs to take that long to play out. Because currently, as you see here, we've actually lost, I believe this is the 200-day EMA here on this chart on the 4-hour. If we actually go out to the daily, we're currently sitting above it. So we've got some support that we actually need to carry. How are we looking on the 50? The 50 is actually the same. We've lost it on the daily. Let's go back here to the 4-hour. Take a look at this here. We've also lost this EMA on the 4-hour as well. So I'm looking at this 4-hour because I'm trying to get a good sense of what could happen in the very near future, and I'll tell you why. Because oftentimes whenever we've seen a pause or a pivot from the Fed before, it doesn't always mean that immediately there's going to be a rebound back to the upside. Now, keep in mind, we still have a lot of negative catalysts that are happening in the crypto market. I don't want to seem like a perma bear, but again, I got to stick to my guns on this until I have significant reasoning to change my viewpoint, right? I've been on record saying on TikTok and on Twitter, I'm not going to flip to a bullish mindset until we actually have built and cleared around $42,000 for Bitcoin. Again, we have a lot of negative catalysts that are going on in the market right now. The SEC is currently running an absolute muck. It's trying to pull your favorite cryptocurrencies into a lawsuit, and that is having very, very negative consequences on the entire market. Now, with us being in the position that we're in today and Jerome Powell coming out and saying, hey, we actually want to take this wait and see approach to where our previous hikes have led us. We don't want to continuously raise rates because, let's be honest, if they continuously raise rates, you're going to have more banks that are going to get into hot water, and you can't really have that going on. In addition to that, the more you raise interest rates, the more businesses take out less money to grow and expand their businesses, and you don't want to have unemployment high, the banking industry having the problems that they're having, all at the same time trying to combat, this multi-headed monster that we have now. So we've got enough negative catalysts that are going on in the news right now. And again, I think all of that combined is going to potentially bring us down to around that 25,400 area for Bitcoin. Something else that I would, want folks to pay attention to here is if we're looking at the CME chart here for Bitcoin, we still have a couple different gaps, right? Like I think we have one here at around 20,000, I want to say, that needs to be filled. And I know everybody say, well, it's not always an absolute certainty. It's not. But if I were to go back and show you each one of these red lines represents a gap, and those of you that have been following the channel, thank you. You've seen this chart before. You know that there's definitely some truth to this, right? These fill, I'd say, about 95% of the time. And, the next one that we have here on the chart is around 20,000. So we'll have to see if this continues. Again, on the CME chart here, you've lost the 200-day, I believe this is. This is a 50. How does a 200 look? So you've got the 200, but you're really pressing on support there. So yeah, if you lose the 200-day EMA support, then that could be potentially bad. Something to always keep in mind here is that the markets, they take the stairs going up, but when they go down, they take the elevators. All right, so we're starting to get a lot of doji candles here. This represents indecision. What this tells me is that you have the bears and the bulls that are jockeying for position, kind of hanging out in a neutral territory right here. So I wouldn't be surprised if RSI did start to tail to the bottom. So, it's just something that we have to keep in mind here. And even on the 4-hour, we're kind of seeing some of those same candles pop up here, right? You've got one that was around 8 o'clock this morning. So definitely something that we need to pay attention to. Again, the zone that I'm looking for is around 25,400, 48 or so, 25,400, that zone right there. And we need to see if we can flip this. Obviously, it's support right now, but we're going to come down and we're probably going to touch that. We need to make sure that support holds. Taking a look here at the VWAP, you've got realistically, you're hanging on the lower side of the value area. You definitely don't want that. What this is telling us is for this time frame that we're looking at here, you've got decent buys and support. So if you fall through this floor here, you could potentially find yourself at around 25,800. But if you continuously fall through, you are in fact going to make your way down to 25.6. And if you fall beneath that, that's pretty much your last area of support. You will come down here to that 25,400, given some change area. So didn't want to make this a super long video. Just wanted to say, hey, even though that the Fed has in fact decided to skip, I'm not going to call it a pause because they are talking about having additional hikes later on down the line. This is more like a skip. We're going to skip raising rates this month and see where it gets us. And these things don't always have an immediate positive reaction, right? So just be mindful, stay diligent in the markets, and always remember, it matters who you follow on social media, especially when you're talking about investing. You guys have any questions, comments, or concern, leave them in the comment section below. I'd be happy to help. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.